When I was just getting started trading options, one thing that always kind of freaked me out was option assignments.
Yeah,
It felt like this big scary thing lurking in the shadows.
it's understandable.
Yeah. But as I got more comfortable with options, I realized assignments aren't always a bad thing. And they're definitely not something to be afraid of, especially when you're prepared.
I think the key is understanding what an assignment actually means. When you sell an option, you're essentially making a promise, right?
A promise to do what?
You're promising to buy or sell a certain number of shares at a specific price, that strike price, if the option buyer decides to exercise their option.
So it's like a rain check on a stock.
Exactly. Like, hey, if it rains, you can buy this stock from me at this price or sell it to me. That rain check can get cashed in.
And that applies to both calls and puts.
Absolutely. With calls, if the stock price goes way up, the buyer's going to want to exercise that call to buy those shares from you at that lower strike price.
Makes sense.
With puts, if the stock tanks, the buyer is going to want to exercise to sell you those shares at that higher strike price. And here's the thing. This can happen any time until the option expires, not just on the expiration date.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you always got to be prepared.
So if you do get a sign, what happens then? Game over.
Not at all. If you have enough buying power in your account to cover the transaction, the assignment just turns into a regular stock position in your account.
Yeah.
You can then decide to keep holding those shares or sell them, depending on your trading strategy.
Makes sense. But what if you don't have enough buying power to cover the assignment when it happens?
That's when you might get hit with what's called a margin call.
Uh-oh.
It's your broker basically saying, hey, you need to deposit more funds to meet your obligation. And yeah, that can be a little stressful, but it's there to protect everyone involved.
So it's like a safety net to make sure things stay balanced.
Right.
And this is where strategies like spreads come in handy, right?
Sure. Yeah, with spreads, even if you get assigned on one leg, your potential loss is still limited by that other leg in the spread. So your risk is defined from the start.
So it's like having a buffer to absorb some of the impact.
Exactly. You're accounting for the possibility of assignment when you set up the trade.
Makes a lot of sense. And speaking of managing spreads, you mentioned earlier something about legging out of spreads. What's the risk there?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes people are tempted to close out each side of a spread individually, especially if one side is profitable.
I can see why they might want to do that.
Yeah, it seems tempting, but remember, spreads are designed to work together. When you start cherry-picking closing only one side at a time, you can actually increase your overall risk. It's almost always best to close out the spread as a single unit.
It's like breaking apart a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. You want to keep those parts working together.
So let's get to the practical stuff. How can traders manage assignments efficiently? What tools can they use?
One really powerful tool that Advanced AutoTrades offers is called the covered stock order. It's like a 2-for-1 deal.
The 2-for-1.
You simultaneously close your assigned position and open an offsetting position in the underlying stock. All in one go. It takes care of any margin requirements and frees up your buying power.
Sounds useful. Can you walk me through how that works on the Advanced AutoTrades platform? Let's say I get assigned on a short call. What would I do?
Sure. So let's say you get assigned on a short call. First, you head over to your positions in the platform. Then you select the assigned short shares and then the long call that was part of your original spread. You right-click, choose Close Position, enter the long option strike price as the closing price, and boom, submit the order. It's done.
Easy peasy.
Exactly. Now, what if you get assigned on a short put instead?
I'm guessing it's pretty similar, right?
It is. You'd select the long shares from the assignment and the corresponding long put, then follow the same steps to create that covered stock order.
Gotcha.
One little trick you can do is adjust that closing price by tiny increments, like a penny or two, just to nudge the order along and increase your chances of getting filled quickly.
So it's like a little fine-tuning to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Exactly. And you know what's really cool? Covered stock orders are very similar to formal exercise requests, but way more cost-effective.
Nice.
Yeah. It really shows you that once you get how assignments work and use the right tools, they just become another part of trading. No need to freak out.
Now, you mentioned index options earlier. Those work a bit differently, right?
Right. With index options like the SPX, you don't have to deal with physical shares because they're cash settled. So if you get assigned on an SPX option, it just results in a profit or loss in your account based on the settlement price.
So it's a simpler process.
Yeah, no worries about actually getting the shares.
But we've covered a lot today. What's the one thing you'd like listeners to remember about option assignments?
Don't let assignments scare you. They're a normal part of the game. Having a good understanding of how they work, knowing how to manage them effectively, and using tools like covered stock orders can make a world of difference.
Great advice. And hey, some traders actually like assignments. They use them strategically to buy or sell stock at a price that works for them.
Totally. It all boils down to your own strategy and risk tolerance.
And continuous learning is key, right?
Absolutely. The more you explore and experiment with different options, strategies, and situations, the more confident you'll become as a trader.
Could agree more. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay ahead with fresh insights every other day, don't forget to hit that subscribe button or follow our podcast. We've got more exciting content coming your way, and we can't wait to have you back. See you soon.